here. Good. Stream goes. Kimberly, where are you? Ah. Here. Good.
All right, we are now live on YouTube. Shabbat Shalom, YouTube land. And Shabbat Shalom to all of you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And I want to extend my thanks again to those who helped last week while Maury and I were on vacation, to Lacey and to Rod and to Don Elmore who gave the Devar, to Mike who tried to do the slideshow, but his computer kind of messed him up last week and he's doing it tonight instead. It's to Adam who stepped in for him. So it takes a village and I am most appreciative for ours. So thank you. It really is great to know that we can sort of just take off and leave things in very competent hands. And I did not worry about it at all. Yes. So, welcome. Mike is on the slide deck tonight, so thank you, Mike. We will have a surprise for you next week. Mike sent me a new recording today. Wasn't able to get it up in time to use tonight, but I will have it for next week. We're going to begin our Shabbat service tonight with Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, taking this one out of mothballs. We haven't done it for a long time. It's the Psalm for the Sabbath day. So if we can go one more.
Are you gonna?
And everybody on mute. There we go. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Le'ahid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha baleilot, alei asur ve'alei navel, alei hikayon v'chinor. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simchachtani Adonai bepo'alecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha alanein. Magadu ma'aseh Adonai, me'od anku machshevotecha. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. we turn to the lighting of our Shabbat candles. And do we have a volunteer to light the Shabbat candles, either using candles in your home or those that will magically appear on the next slide? And Mike, if you could advance to the reading for this.
I can do it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kim. Whoops, back one. There we go.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thanks, Kim. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this worship space in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Help me to perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I may honor your name and create a world of peace. And we continue with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat nekabela, Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, V'shemo tiferet v'mitzvila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikadem yesucha, tov na'aseh b'machshavah tefila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva orech u'mi'ori, Uri, Uri, shedaberi, Kivrot Adonai alai etila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom aderet bala, Ram v'simcha u'v'tohola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Prayer is no panacea, no substitute for action. It is rather like a beam thrown from a flashlight before us into the darkness. It is in this light that we who grope, stumble, and climb, discover where we stand, what surrounds us, and the course which we should choose. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach utev yamlich machutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchayedecho bet Yisrael, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'meru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'liyamei amaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'amaha, ve'imeru, Amen. We continue with our call to worship the Baruch Hu. Would someone like to read this next prayer in English? Oops, go back one, please. There we go.
Okay. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. Transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzitbaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continuously over us into eternity.
Oops. Back one.
Okay. Everlasting love you offered your people.
No. Back one, Mike. Back one, please. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamaruv Riv Avarim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Thank you, Dave. Now we go to the next one. There we go. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדבר back one הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Oops, forward. Would someone like to share this reading?
I can read it.
Thank you.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get here from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Thank you, Rad. ונאמר כיבד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Would someone like to read this prayer?
Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel and over Jerusalem.
Sorry. Israel, Oti Leolam, Oti Leolam, Vishamru, Bnei Israel, Et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat, Lidorot HaDolam, Ki Sheshet Yamim, Asa Adonai, Et HaShamayim, וביום השביעי שבת חיי נפש, שבת חיי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ולדורות. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We continue with the tefillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot. Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechakel chayim bechesed mechaye hakol berachamim rabim somech noflim v'rofei cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al geburot umido melach melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Would somebody like to share this prayer?
I'll do it.
Thank you, Sandra. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. We need to unmute you. There we go.
Thank you. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Thank you, Sandra. We take a few moments for silent reflection and prayer with the stylings of Mike Stern as accompaniment. Mike, you need to unmute so we can hear the music.
You hit that little thing in the
I got it.
center of the,
It's just the number of slides. I don't have an unmute sign.
I unmuted you. You just need to
Oh.
click on the play button.
that's it.
Whoops.
Damn.
Okay, if you'll go back. Oh, say shalom b'noma. Oh, say shalom aleinu. Ve'acho Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu, Ya'ko Yisrael. 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 Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yosei tevel. So this is one of those rare Shabbats, actually a rare Rosh Chodesh, the new month, that actually falls on Shabbat. It happens once or twice a year, And it almost always happens on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is the month that Pesach, that Passover falls in. And so we will do a very, very short Hallel, which is the special prayers that we say on Rosh Chodesh, the new month. And we start with the blessing for saying Hallel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hallel. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to recite hymns of praise. Hallelujah et Adonai, kol goyim, shabchuhu, shabchuhu, kol ha'umim, ki gavar aleinu chasto, v'yem et Adonai, le'olam hallelujah. Hodu l'Adonai, ki tov, ki le'olam chasto. Yomarna Yisrael, ki le'olam chasto. Yomarna vet Aharon, ki le'olam chasto. Yomruna, Yirei Adonai, ki le'olam chasto. Now forward. Oops. Now forward. All your works shall praise you, Adonai, our God, and your faithful ones, the righteous who do your will, and all your people, the house of Israel, thank you in joyous song, and bless, praise, glorify, exalt, extol, sanctify, and proclaim the sovereignty of your name. For it is good to give you thanks and to sing praises to your name, because throughout all time to eternity you are God. Praise to you, Adonai, sovereign, praised in song. And that is our Hallel. And it's time for birthday and anniversary blessings. Do we have any birthdays this week?
My dad turned 75 and my parents have been married for 50 years.
Wow, Mazel Tov. That's amazing. But they're not here, right?
No, they're not here.
They're not here. But we do have an anniversary this week. Rob and Mare. We are going to highlight you. Spotlight, there we go. Yay.
Very good. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. And how many years is it? 40?
41.
41. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
So it is my pleasure to offer this blessing for you. Oh God, eternal source of blessing, we turn to you in gratitude for the strength and devotion that have preserved and sustained Rob and Mare and permitted them to reach this hour. Amid loved ones and this holy congregation, they look back upon the years that have passed since they first pledged themselves to one another. Many and varied have been their experiences since that day. You recall the joys that have graced their days with light and beauty. You also remember the dark storms that shook them. In triumphs and trials alike, oh God, you have been with them. So may you continue to be with them, guiding and sustaining them in years to come. When we create a home with a spouse, we invite God to dwell among us. Rob and Mayor, as you celebrate this anniversary of your marriage, you mark the passage of time since first creating a holy sanctuary together. On this day of your anniversary, or this week of your anniversary, we pray that God will continue to dwell in your home and in your hearts. May you continue to be blessed with a strong love that allows you to endure life's challenges and celebrate life's joys. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
And it's my honor to invoke the priestly blessing for you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious with you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence with you always, and may God grant you the most precious gift of peace. Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
And now our thoughts turn, of course, to those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit, those in our community and those close to our community. Barbara Arno, Marcy Berman, Marty Boyle, Carol Castro, Isaac Cohen, Sarah Cohen, Sylvia Cohen, Susan Cooley, Kate Cosby, Bruce Dalby, Carolyn Dowlin, Stuart Dowlin, Don Elmore, Steve Feynman, Charles Patrick, Justin Folk, Barbara Frisbee, Matt Kiefer, Alessandra Coditial, Jana Lesser, Linda McGee, Lee Marsh, Olivia Martinez, Jean McPhee, Mike McNerney, Tom Moore, Marge Muldoon, Charles Patrick, Patty Radel, John Robertson, Diana Samuels, Bruce Schlossberg, Shimshon Ben Avraham Visara, April Singer, April Thomason, Cliff Vancora, Emilio Vasquez, Susan Weber, Marcia Gorin-Wesser, and Kay Williams. Are there others for whom we are praying this Shabbat for healing?
Emerald Palacios.
Thank you.
Joan Myers,
Thank you.
Mike Carter,
Thank you.
Jacob Blake, David Fishelman, Shirley Power.
Thank you. For those who've been named and for those whom we name in our hearts, we say, Misha Berach, Avotenu ve'imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim shalanu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim alehem, lahachalimam, ularapotam, ulahachazikam, v'yishlach lahem mehira refuah shlema min hashamayim. Refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, hashtabag Allah, bizman kariv, v'nomar, amen. We continue with the Misha Berach that we sing. So Mike, if you wouldn't mind taking down the slide deck for the Devar Torah, please. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This week's Torah portion, Tazria, is one of the more challenging portions for us to understand in our modern society. The parasha opens by telling us how long a woman is impure after giving birth to a boy and after giving birth to a girl. And yes, they are different lengths of time. And how she is to make expiation to return to a state of purity. The remainder of the parsha deals with a variety of skin afflictions and how the priest is to inspect them and determine if they are sara'at, poorly translated as leprosy, or not, which then determines whether one is pure or impure. This in turn determines whether one may remain within the community or must be quarantined. Well, we know a little bit about that, don't we? But that's not what I'm going to talk about tonight. I want to get right to the heart of what I think is relevant and instructive from the Torah portion for us today, other than what I wrote about in the Shabbat message. The entire parsha is mired in ritual. When a woman gives birth, there's a specific ritual that she completes in order to become pure again. When someone acquires any one of a number of skin afflictions, there are specific rituals that both the afflicted and the priest must perform. As Jews, we are well aware of the power of ritual. After all, ritual pervades every single one of our Shabbat and holiday observances. And where ritual doesn't currently exist, we Jews tend to crave it and create new rituals to sanctify our life passages. In this week's reformjudaism.org Torah commentary, Cantor Jill Abramson reminds us that a few years ago, the New York Times ran an article on the subject of organ donation entitled Rituals of Honor in Hospital Hallways. The article described a moving ritual by hospital staff to honor a deceased person who intended to be an organ donor. In this particular hospital, when a donor is carefully wheeled down the hallway to the operating room, each available staff person, nurse, housekeeper, social worker, dietitian, doctor, and volunteer pauses and stands in silence with quiet reverence to honor the person who has chosen to be an organ donor. Cantor Abramson writes, the hallway ritual stuck in my mind. I was struck by the way in which the hospital staff had created a ritual, complete with special choreography and the involvement of the entire community to honor this poignant moment. You may remember reading or hearing about the Clap Because We Care campaign that began in March 2020 in Manhattan by a group of neighbors who went out on their balconies each night at 6:58 and clapped, banged on drums or pots, or used their voices to cheer on the city's healthcare workers who were risking their lives to take care of those who were sick with coronavirus. The group of neighbors grew and grew and grew until it was not only Manhattan, but the entire 5 boroughs participating nightly from 6:58 to 7:04. By April, it had started to spread to other US cities, and by May, it had become a worldwide phenomenon. Sadly, it had petered out more or less by the end of June. However, one hardy group in Brooklyn continued to cheer nightly for over a year. Why was this ritual so important? At a time when time seemed to be so undefined, it brought definition to people's day. At a time when everyone was so isolated, it brought people together, even though they each did it from their own space. At a time when so many of us felt powerless, it gave people purpose. Ritual is so powerful. Demetrius Xygalatas, professor of anthropology at the University of Connecticut, teaches that people tend to perform more rituals during times of uncertainty or stress. At a time when our lives may seem chaotic, rituals impose order and therefore help us feel a sense of control. In addition, since many rituals are group rituals, they provide a sense of connection, which also serves to stabilize uncertainty and stress. Finally, Professor Xygalatas says that ritual is a source of resiliency. He writes, "It is not surprising then that people around the world are creating new rituals. Some of those rituals are meant to provide a sense of structure and reclaim the sense of control. People have found new ways of celebrating age-old rituals and are coming up with a host of rituals to maintain a broader sense of human connection. Ritual is an ancient and powerful tool for promoting resiliency. Ritual is an ancient and inextricable part of human nature. And while it may take many forms, it remains a powerful tool for promoting resiliency and solidarity. In a world full of ever-changing variables, ritual is a much needed constant." The ancient priests held a dual role in Jewish life, diagnosing and caring for those with illness, while also caring for the spiritual needs of the community. In those days, they were mostly concerned with what was pure and impure. For example, giving birth would have made you impure, and in that event, the priests were vested with outlining steps for bringing one's status back to a state of ritual purity. Today, to state the obvious, we no longer have a priestly caste or find meaning in the concept of impurity in the same way in Reform Judaism. However, we have retained important elements of the concept of purity in our liturgy, and it's really beautiful. You may recognize these words from the morning service, affirming the inherent goodness and purity of each soul. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. You created it, you formed it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. Or this prayer, which comes from the Shabbat Amidah. V'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. The implication, of course, is that we can all stand to grow in deepening the goodness or purity of our hearts. As we reflect on the work of the priests, the power of ritual, and the words of our prayers that express a longing for purity, I share with you the following prayer by poet, teacher, and author Ruth Bryn, written specifically as a response to this challenging parsha. Though it was difficult long ago to heal the dread and deadly spots of leprosy, it is also difficult to heal the deadly hatreds we carry in our hearts today. How shall we even recognize beneath their bland and persuasive smiles those who are diseased with corruption? How shall we banish the evil that seeps into our own minds? O Adonai, our God, we whose souls are blemished and whose minds are impure, ask of you, by what rights can we be clean again? By what ceremony can we be cured of all our moral illnesses? Teach us, we implore you, as you taught Moses, the ways of righteousness and strength. Help us to heal ourselves and to be physicians to those who need us. Make our souls pure as they came from you. Kei Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. Stay.
Okay. Good evening, folks. A pleasure to have you all with us this evening. I noticed we have 15 computers plugged in, up to about 20 people. Very nice turnout. And yeah, compliments to the folks who led the service last week. I won't say it was seamless, but I would say it was beautifully handled. Okay, we not only can follow ritual, we can also think on our feet and dance along through the evening. Want to thank the folks who are bringing us this service this evening. As far as announcements are concerned, okay. On April 5th, coming up, JCC has their author series. It's entitled An Evening with Jory Epstein. She's a Jewish Federation, JCC, named author this year. So she will be discussing a book dealing with one man's attempt to eliminate hatred from the world. Also, on April 7th, JFSA will be taking part in a community iftar dinner with the folks at Raindrop House. It's a in-person. Need to register. Contact person at Jewish Federation is Lisa Epstein, and folks are asked to bring, if you come, asked to bring a vegetarian dish. So yeah, grab the vegetables, and toss something together. Okay, ta-da! Drum roll. On April 16 at 6 p.m., we are having our community Seder. It will be at the Falkowitz Law Office. Need to RSVP by the 7th, so folks know how many people to cook for. I will be I really will be registering right after this service.
You're already registered.
I'm registered? Okay. Alrighty. There may have been a problem with, I thought there may or may not have been a problem with the credit card being accepted, but if not, yeah.
But I thought you were sending a check. That's why, but
Yeah, okay. Register. I'll mail you the check. It's easier. If you don't get it by then, you just hit me in the head. Okay. Also, in continuance of tradition, our third Friday of the month in May will be on the 20th for our next in-person service. So folks could kind of, circle that date on the calendar. It would be handy. As far as a comment on the priestly cast, we don't have. I think these days they're called doctors and lawyers. Okay, Lisa, back to you.
All right. The sooner you RSVP register for the Seder, the better, so that we can get our numbers to the caterer.
Mhm.
He's wonderful, and it'll be a delicious meal.
Mhm.
And we want to get the information, and we need to buy supplies and what have you as well. So it would be great. We're doing nicely on registrations. Not too many, not too few. Perfect. And one other thing is watch your email over the weekend. I'm teaching a session that is being hosted by San Antonio College on prophecy, dreams as prophecy in the Bible, in the Jewish Bible. And it's open to the public. So I'm waiting. Dawn Elmore is the liaison, and she's going to set up she's waiting for them to set up the Zoom link. And as soon as she has the Zoom link and forwards it to me, I'll send out an email so that anybody who wants to participate can. So that's why it hasn't been in the newsletter or anything. But it's Tuesday night, and I'll send that out over the weekend as soon as I get the information. But I wanted to let you know in case, it's Tuesday night at 7:00. So, all right, and that's it. We're going to continue with the concluding portion of our service as soon as Mike brings it back up. Beginning with Aleinu L'Shabeach, as always. Whoops, back one. There we go. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'teit gedula liotzer breshit. No, forward. Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al. Ushchinatu zo b'gofei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od. Va'anachnu kore'im u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. We turn our thoughts to our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. We remember in loving memory Dan McShane, friend of Wendy and Stan Drezik, who died just this morning. We remember in the period of Shloshim, 30 days since the death, Jonathan Erlin, cousin of David Shane. We remember the anniversary of death, the Yahrzeit, Alexander Adler, my grandfather, and we remember 10 people who perished in the Holocaust. Christina Speyer, Cato Van Staveren, Fanny Meyer, Sarah Melboom, Matilda Michelson, Rachel de Miranda, Rebecca Mossel, Gerda Mises, Rachela Nagel, and Rosa Spanier. Are there others who are remembering somebody for yard site or for Kaddish? We turn to the words of the mourner's Kaddish on the next slide. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens help us to make peace here on earth and send peace to all who are bereaved, to which we say amen. We are going to conclude with an oldie but a goodie, Adon Olam. There we go. All right. Is there a volunteer who would like to lead us in Kiddush tonight?
I can lead Kadoosh.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rod.
Let's see how it goes.
All right. Mike, can you advance one more? Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei bari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kosher, v'ahavat, v'ratzon inkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom tequila, lemikra kodesh, zeker liat mitzrayim. Ki vanu vakarta, yotanu kidashta, mikol amim. Shabbat koshika, v'ava ufratzon, in kaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz v'te'avon. All right.